So today we're going to have a very laid back discussion about why someone would want to invest in Dubai. Why would someone want to move their money from their home country where they're familiar with the landscape, familiar with how everything works, probably own a couple properties there already, and shift it over to this beautiful city in the desert? Yeah. Now, I have heard a lot of interesting reasons over the years, some of which I would say are pretty unique. I mean, I once had a client from the UK. His main reason for wanting to invest here in Dubai was because of how strict Dubai is on drugs. It's very difficult to get drugs here in Dubai, and the consequences for being caught with them is severe. I mean, even for something small like weed. So yeah, to get away from that lifestyle he was living in the UK, that environment, sort of quit cold turkey, he decided to move here. But again, that is a very individualized reason. What I have done though is I've picked out 7 reasons that I think are the most important on a much broader scale. So yeah, the first 2 reasons are going to be, I would say, the most popular reasons you would hear. So apologies in advance for that, but I'm going to try to put my own little spin on it and hopefully expand. So reason number one, no taxes. So whenever anyone says that there's no taxes here in Dubai, the two most common types they're referring to is capital gains and income tax. With income tax, you don't have to worry about paying anything to the government. You don't have to worry about filing a tax return, getting together with an accountant and figuring out the loopholes we need to jump through to save money. All of your money goes to you at the end of the year. With capital gains tax, which is essentially the profit that you make on the sale of an asset, in this case real estate, you don't have to pay a percentage of that to the government. All of it goes to you again. There is some level of taxation though. Every government in the world needs taxation to survive, to maintain the public infrastructure, the hospitals, the roadworks, the police service, ambulances, these types of things. But it's very minuscule compared to other places in the world. So we have VAT, value added tax. That's going to be 5%, and it's just the tax that you pay whenever you buy a good or service. And then we have and then if you own a company here in Dubai that is generating more than 375,000 AED for the year, that's around 100,000 USD, you would pay corporate taxes of 9%. But again, way lower than anywhere else in the world. In the US, it's around 25%. In India, it goes up to 30%. In the UK, it used to be 19%, but they increased it to 25% to go along with the already insane 45% that you would pay on income taxes. So yeah, almost half of your work here, sometimes more, is spent just on paying the government. So of course, the fact that our taxes are this minute is a big reason why so many people are uplifting their families and not uplifting, uprooting their families and shifting over to Dubai. Reason number two, high return on investment. This is something that we can break down into rental yields and capital appreciation. In terms of rental returns, depending on the location, we can pick out something that would give you between 8 to 10% annually. But if it's an area that's already developed, all the infrastructure is already there, has a great view of the Burj Khalifa or the beachfront is facing the water, these types of things, downtown Dubai and Palm Jumeirah are good examples of this, you're looking at around a 5% return. In terms of capital appreciation, to see any real appreciation, I would recommend investing at least 500,000 USD. That's around 430,000 euros. That gives you the ability to buy in with a developer who has a good history, good plots, good master communities. A master community is just like a subset of the city that is controlled by one developer. They take full control of the designing of the community, and typically these are gated and have a ton of amenities inside. Historically, these have appreciated the most. Think Dubai Hills, really nice, beautiful gated community by Emaar. Think City Walk by Miras. But most importantly, you would be able to invest with a developer that has a good history of making people money the last couple years. Now, me as a consultant, I cannot predict the future for you. I cannot promise you that you make 50% guaranteed. No one can. But what we can do is study the data and the history and sort of map out a trajectory of where that investment will go. There is 2,061 developers in Dubai, but in terms of the ones that actually give you a good appreciation, I think it boils down to around 10, I would say. Emaar is really good. They have done around 30% on average the last 3 years. Ellington has done around 30%. Bengati has done amazing. Select Group, Omniat. But we can get more into the data and I can walk you through everything once we set up a meeting. Reason number three, your money is secured. How so, you ask? Well, here in Dubai, we use escrow accounts, meaning the down payment that you make and any subsequent payments thereafter, they go into a third party account that is managed by the Dubai Land Department, the government basically. The developer only sees a portion of the money after they've made progress on the project, which again is independently verified by the Dubai Land Department. So basically, they can't fudge the numbers. Can't say that they're at 60% completion and trigger another release of funds when they're really at 38%. Oh, and the money that the developer does see that is distributed to them, it can only be used for stuff related to the project. So stuff like the purchase of raw materials, payments towards contractors, stuff like that. Also, even after the project is completed, 5% of the total purchase price is maintained or withheld in the escrow account. And that is used if there's any issues with your apartment or the developer didn't deliver what was promised. So basically, it's like a warranty against defects. So for me, at first, I thought that was a common thing around the world. Like everyone is using escrow accounts because it just makes sense. But I learned a lot over the last couple of years just dealing with so many different people. I once had a client from Indonesia who bought two apartments, one for his housemate that had been with him for decades, and the other for his wife. It was in a development, you pay directly to the developer, and apparently the owner of the development, he ran away with some $500 million and he left all the properties unconstructed. They're just standing there. Yeah, so he lost his money there. Of course, I know that happens. I understand why people are cautious when it comes to real estate. When they hear real estate everywhere, there are people out there that have had bad experiences. But here in Dubai, this is not something you have to worry about. It is very safe here to invest. Reason number four, economic stability. The UAE was actually voted the most stable economy in the world. That's according to US News and World Report. Dubai has done a great job of diversifying their economy away from oil, mostly because, well, they never really had that much oil to begin with. So this has worked enormously in their favor. We have a booming financial sector. It's number one in the Middle East, actually. We're big in tourism, manufacturing, construction, logistics, becoming something of a crypto and AI hub. Sustainability is also at the forefront of just about everything we do here in Dubai. So yeah, all the eggs are definitely not in one basket. Oh, and something else that helps a lot with that stability, the fact that our currency, the UAE dirham, is pegged to the United States dollar. That means it doesn't go through these huge shifts we see as other currencies in the Middle East. We saw what happened to the Lebanese pound, got devalued by over 98% back in 2023. The Turkish lira used to be valued at 1 Turkish lira to 1.5 US dollars 15 years ago. But today, 1 USD is worth over 41 Turkish lira. That is painful. Currencies are no different than stocks, in my opinion. They go through ups and downs the same way for a myriad of different reasons. It could be natural disasters. It could be the government falling apart. It could be the country's debts finally catching up with it, et cetera, et cetera. And the result is no different than when the stock market crashes. I would say it's even more detrimental. You don't invest everything you own into the stock market, but most people are 100% liquid or invested into their home country. So you basically invested everything you have and you lost. And when that happens, you see mass hardship. People lose their businesses because their customers can't afford to pay. Crime goes up because people who've never thought about doing a crime are now in a position to where they can't take care of their families. It's a very sad situation. The crisis in Lebanon sent something like 80% of the population into poverty. So yeah, you definitely want to invest in a place that does have that stability factor. Dubai is actually seen as a safe haven of the Middle East. Whenever there's conflict or turmoil here, we tend to see a lot more people inquiring, how can we invest? We saw it with Iraq, we saw it with Israel, we saw it with Syria, and we even saw it outside of the region. We saw it most recently with the Russia-Ukraine war. When Russia invaded Ukraine, that year, 2022, there was something like 6.3 billion US dollars invested in 2022 alone. And that, of course, played a major part in why our property prices went up by 21% that year. Okay, Reason number 5, strong, transparent leadership. Dubai is very open about their goals and what they want to achieve. I don't know if any country that openly posts their roadmaps towards the future. I'm talking about Dubai, the economic and social agendas. You have the Vision 2040. You have the UAE Energy Strategy 2050. Everything is just, it's out in the open, and you can see that the government is taking the steps necessary. You're seeing the real progress you're seeing the progress happen every single year. We don't have all the bureaucracy and the red tape and the political parties to pander to or the donors to take care of. It's just one strong leader who clearly loves his people, and you can see it in his actions. And that transparency is seen in every aspect of our real estate market as well. You have the Dubai Rest app where you can go see project completion percentages, independently verified by the Dubai Land Department, of course. We have DXB Interact where you can see historical transactions, see what properties are selling for and for what price, see how developers are performing, see how many units are getting rented and for what ROI. Everything as it relates to real estate is clear and out in the open. So that should give you confidence because you as an investor, you're not guessing. You know exactly what you're getting into. Yeah. Reason number 6, the local population is well taken care of. In Dubai, Emiratis have a completely different set of benefits compared to expats. I mean, that's the way it should be, right? Companies are actually given incentives to hire them, so they don't really suffer from unemployment. Many of them get free land grants to build their homes. If they want to get a mortgage, normally here in Dubai, if you're a resident, the bank would cover up to 80%, but if you're an Emirati, they would cover up to 85%, and they also get favorable interest rates. I read a story earlier this year to where the government had approved a 1.5 billion USD housing development strictly for Emiratis. So yeah, life as an Emirati is pretty nice. Now, why does that matter to you as an investor? Well, when the local population is taken care of, there's no resentment towards the government. They won't turn on the government, and instead they welcome foreign investment. And when that happens, the economy grows. Compare that to places like Singapore, where the government recently doubled the property taxes on foreign buyers because the locals were complaining that they're being priced out of the market. They can't afford to buy homes in their own country. So yeah, you as an investor, if you were to invest in a place like Singapore, your capital appreciation would 100% be affected just because, the government is actively working to cool the market. In Dubai, that pressure does not exist because Emiratis have their own exclusive path to home ownership and building wealth. Yeah. And now, the last and final reason number 7. Reason number 7, and probably the main reason why I personally moved there, safety. One of the lowest crime rates in the world. You have 24/7 security in just about every building. You have 1 million cameras on every single street. So yeah, Dubai is definitely not a place that you want to commit a crime. I come from a place where the crime is pretty unbearable. I mean, I've seen a lot of dangerous stuff happen. I've been in dangerous situations. I've had a gun pointed to me on 3 different occasions, and that was all before the age of 18. I mean, blessed to be able to laugh about it now, but at the time, it wasn't really funny. So yeah, that not being in a place where you don't have that anxiety eating at you, you can just relax. You can wear a nice watch. You can drive a nice car. You don't have to worry if you left the door unlocked at home. Oh, and that safety can actually benefit you financially as well. For example, here in Dubai, I drive a Range Rover and the insurance for the full year is coming at around 400 quid, a little bit below. But I know in the UK that insurance for that car would cost 10 times that amount just because that car is so prone to theft. So yeah, those are my 7 reasons. Hopefully I was able to give you guys some new insights, a new perspective on Dubai. If you would like to speak to me directly, this is my personal phone number here on screen. Feel free to reach out to me through WhatsApp or give me a call. We can arrange a meeting, we can get to know each other, and we can figure out what would be the best investment for your particular scenario. Yeah, thank you so much for watching to the end. Shout out to the people that did not make it. Feel free to subscribe because I will be posting more videos in the future, maybe on a weekly, bi-weekly basis. Yeah, peace.